If you remember in the last lecture, we started with the design of our design consideration for gas absorption tower. So if we have to design a plate tower or tray tower, so initially there are some design consideration, and this point was discussed at the end of the last lecture. So there we just you have seen just journal points which you have to keep in mind, are some information which you have to collect before you start the design, or there were some other parameter which were mentioned which you will calculate or you will find during main design of this equipment. So in this lecture we are going to cover this part today. That's the graphical method of design of absorption column, and that's the tray tower here we are starting with. Before this, in last lecture, last week, majorly we discussed the absorption equipment, and in those there were two main equipment, tray tower and PEC tower, and we studied the details of tray tower and PEC tower, that how does the interaction between the vapor and liquid takes place inside the specific tower, for example on the tray or on the surface of packing. So there were different type of trays in when you look at the tray column, or in the PEC tower there were different type of packing which were further classified as structured packing and random packing. So there were various comparison between like different packing as well as the trays, and then at the end of that few points were discussed, that if you have to select the equipment between trays and pack column, so which one will be suitable, or there were certain recommendations in which you should consider to use pack tower, otherwise you can go with the tray tower. So just after completing that stuff, then we discussed this briefly, that what are general design consideration that were about the conditions on which some liquid or the gas is entering, their flow, composition, temperature, pressure, and then we discussed this quickly, that what you will be calculating, or when you have some of the information, then it will be easy for you to select the specific equipment either as a tray tower or the PEC tower. So, and also about, for example, the material of construction of those packings, uh, like some points, for example, corrosive solvent or corrosive gas is there, then few points were discussed. So if you know this information before starting the design, then it will be helpful for you to select the specific equipment. And then in this also we generally discuss that what are specific ideal absorbent like characteristics as well, when you are looking at the working of the absorption tower, what are the main effect of temperature and pressure and how they are controlled, or how we can vary that. And then there was similarly for the stripping tower, and at the end we majorly concluded that these will be operated at usually atmospheric temperature and pressure. Although in absorber, high pressure and low temperature were favorable as well. In case of stripper, just opposite of this, like high temperature and like low pressure. But certain limitations were discussed for like this high pressure providing or low temperature as well. In case of stripper, like if you have to provide low pressure, that will be with the help of a vacuum, and then what was the problem we discussed at that time. So let's start with this graphical method for trade towers. As already we have discussed, that trade tower are those columns in which there are trays or the plates inside the column, and interaction between the vapor and liquid majorly takes place on the surface of these plates, where there is some liquid hold up and vapor just pass through some holes, in case of like sieve trays, or through valves or bubble caps, and they come in contact with the liquid, and then just leave that tray and move to the next. As well, the liquid move down through the downcomer. So this method in which which is called graphical method. Before I just start here, we will just discuss some of the main basic terminologies which we will be using while deriving some equations in this method. So I think you studied the distillation column design, and somehow you know the method called McCabe-Thiele method for the design of distillation column. So this method is somehow quite similar to that. So in this method here we will consider, because we are discussing here absorption as well as the stripping at same time. So I will just talk about absorption column as well as stripping column at the same time. So the figure which you can see here is the absorption column in which absorption is taking place. So the purpose of the absorber was to absorb some of the component of a gas stream or the vapor stream which is entering from the bottom of the column, and to remove some of the components with the help of the liquid which enters from the top. So here in this diagram are the shown like liquid flow rate, and there is something called like solute if it contains some amount, otherwise there will be negligible as well. Here is the gas which contains some specific component which we want to absorb, and later on gas passes through this leak from the top. The concentration of those components which we were supposed to remove should have decreased because those components will be absorbed inside the liquid. So here for the absorber, when you just go for its design, so for absorber the stages are just numbered from top to bottom. So in this case the absorbent or the agent, the liquid which enters from the top. So we, for absorber, we start the numbering of the trays, because this is the main tray tower. So in this the trays are numbered from top to bottom. So from the top, from where the liquid enters, this absorbent enters, that will be named as number 1, and so on. You go till number n at the bottom of the column. So opposite to this, when there is a stripping column, in stripping column the purpose is to get rid of some of the components which are absorbed inside the liquid with the help of some stripping agent which enters from the bottom. So here liquid which has absorbed certain components inside the absorber, actually this is the stream which is just leaving from here. We discussed one of the diagram of like industrial equipment in which absorber and stripper are used together. So there we saw that the liquid stream which leaves from the absorber, then that enters after a certain heat exchange or some other process, that then entered to the stripping column. So inside this here the liquid which is entering contains some of the components coming from that absorber. This is the liquid which has absorbed those components from the gas, and in the stripper we discussed that with the help of some stripping agent, for example gas entering from here, that removes these stripping components from here, and at the end liquid leaves as cleaned, or we have removed most of the components which were absorbed inside this, and this liquid was recycled inside that, and gas leaves from the top. So here in stripper, when you have to number the stages, so they are numbered like from the bottom, from where stripping agent is entering. So they are numbered from here 1 to n from the bottom, because stripping agent enters from the bottom. So the bottom one, the lowest one here, the plate will be numbered as a 1, and in top we will have number n capital. So inside this here you have seen some random number, and for example total there are for example 20. So we can take it this random number as a 10 or 5 inside that when we start from the 1 in both of the equipments. So now when you know that how they are numbered, you can identify these like something mentioned is x naught, y1, xn plus 1 or xn as well on the stripper side. So I will just talk about these in a minute. Before that, here the things which are mentioned, like the flow rate of the liquid is represented usually with the for the liquid we represent it with the capital L, liquid flow rate. So here it is L prime, that is molar flow rate of solute free absorbent. Kindly remember this, that here liquid flow rate is only considered for the liquid. I mean it is when it is free of those solute, or there are no solute, or we can just say that it is simple the liquid molecules which are entering, which is being used as a absorbent, its flow rate only. Without considering the solute. Any solute, we say that there is no solute, or only if we are looking for the flow rate of the liquid, so that is represented with this. And similarly V prime, so it will be the gas or the vapor flow rate, and that also solute free. So I think you remember solute are those components which we want to absorb. For example, here there is natural gas entering to this tower, and natural gas is now a major component or the main gas, and if it contains some amount of H2S and CO2, so in that case this H2S or CO2, this impurity which is part of the natural gas here, that will be called solute, and all other component, majorly hydrocarbon, they are being called as natural gas. So this will be then flow rate of that natural gas. And for this liquid, for example, if you want to remove H2S and you are bringing here the solution of NaOH, so this will be molar flow rate of only NaOH, excluding this solute. We don't consider that there is anything in this. It is only, for example, the flow rate of liquid that is represented with this symbol L prime and V prime. And this X capital, which is mentioned in these both of the diagrams. So X capital is the mole ratio of solute to the solute free absorbent. We have to just take the moles of solute and take its ratio with the moles of the liquid, which was like here when we said molar flow rate of the solute free absorbent. So the solute free absorbent, its amount and its ratio with this mole, that is X capital. And Y capital is opposite to that for the vapor stream. So this was for the liquid stream. So other with the vapor stream, this is again molar ratio of the solute to the solute free gas. Then we have to consider this, that solute which are part of the vapor stream divided by amount of the vapor without those solute, that is represented with this Y capital. So when we look here now, hopefully when you know that what are these L prime, V prime as well as X and Y, so just look here for this first column, absorber column. So when the liquid is entering to the tower, its flow rate is L prime, that is molar flow rate without solute, and here we consider that solute amount or solute concentration is represented with X capital and X naught. This is tray 1. We just consider that because this is coming just before the tray 1, so there will be something 0 stage before this. So this is X naught, X0, concentration of the solute which is coming from some stage 0. Before this, anything will be considered as a 0. As you keep on moving down, the bottom tray was named as N, so anything after this will be like N plus 1. So due to this, he mentioned here the vapor stream which is entering, its concentration is like molar ratio of the solute to the solute free vapor with the capital Y, and it will be entering from something N plus 1. Just anything after this N is N plus 1, so this is entering from there. Its symbol is R, used as yn plus 1. And when it leaves from the top, because it is leaving from the tray 1, from the surface of tray 1, so it is named as Y1, and similarly vapor flow rate solute free. And from the bottom, liquid leaves from the nth tray and it leaves the system, so Xn is mentioned here, the concentration of the solute leaving from the nth tray in out of the column. And liquid flow rate, because we have considered it solute free, so it will remain throughout the column same. Because liquid, for example, you bring the 10 liter of the liquid that moves through the column, and we are considering here that there is no stripping of the liquid with this gas. We also studied this thing that solvent gets stripped even with the help of these gases, which are vapor, which are entering to the column. But here, when we are considering it solute free as well, we just consider that all the liquid which is entering from top will be leaving to the bottom. As well, for the gas or the vapor which are entering from the bottom, if their flow rate is like V prime, that also remains the same till the top. And this was also solute free, so any solute will be absorbed, but major gas will be leaving as such from the column. Similarly, for the stripper, you can now understand the symbol that Y naught, because this is a stripper numbered from the bottom, so anything before tray 1 is tray 0, so that is like Y naught here. As well, this liquid is leaving from the tray 1 because so it is named as X1, and similarly for the liquid entering from the top will be considered as anything coming after n plus 1, so and leaving vapor is Yn. So this is about the diagram, because later I have to apply some balance and write some equations, so kindly it should be clear to you what these symbols indicate when I'm writing something, flow rate of some solute or the solvent or these things, and how they are like numbered or here represented with different symbols. So this X capital which we have seen, that was molar or mole ratio of the solute, actually that we can call it like molar ratio of the solute to the solute free absorbent, or for Y capital which was for solute to the solute free gas. So this X capital is actually equal to X, and X, I think you know that this is mole fraction in the liquid. Some things mole fraction in the liquid, commonly we use it this simple X, so it is actually X over 1 minus X, and Y capital that is equal to Y small over 1 minus Y small. So overall I can say that X capital is the like here mole ratio, or also we can say it is the ratio of the mole fraction between the solute to the solute free solvent. And similarly for the vapor phase, it is the molar ratio of solute, mean that molar ratio solute molar ratio in the like of those solute which are present in the gas stream to the overall molar ratio or mole fraction of the other side, which is like vapor. So let's look at this. How does it appear from the main equation? So when we defined X or the Y, so X capital is mole of the solute divided by mole of solute free solvent. As you can see here, with respect to this, I have written the equation. So just I want to look at how does it get converted to mean the these are the mole to the molar ratio, how they get converted. So I have just divided both numerator and denominator with the total moles of solute and the solvent. When we consider them combined, like total moles, that will include both solute and the solvent, in this case of the liquid. So moles of the solute here divided by the total moles, and similarly in the denominator we were considering only the moles of solute free solvent, or you can say, oh actually these are only the moles of solvent, so moles of solvent divided by the total moles. And you know that this ratio is called mole fraction, mole of the solute to the total moles. So this is mole fraction of the solute divided by, here it will be the mole fraction of solute free solvent, because it is again also the moles of solvent divided by total moles. And if we just consider that this mole fraction of the solute is represented with the X, so other mole fraction of the solvent then will be 1 minus X, because you know the sum of mole fraction is equal to 1. So based on that equation was written that X capital was equal to X small divided by 1 minus X small. And similarly you can write for the other vapor stream, that is also the mole absolute divided by moles absolute free gas. So again, like divide it both numerator and denominator by total moles, so when you divide it you will get converted to the mole fraction. So up to here clear to you? Any question like about this diagram or these things? I think they are just basics. So right, in this method the two things are important, which are called operating line and equilibrium line. So how we have to draw the operating line or the equilibrium line while designing the absorber tray tower. So in this here in this diagram there are actually two diagrams shown. One is for absorber and this is for the stripper. So I will come back to these diagrams after a few minutes. Before that, let's look at that how does we can get various equations which can provide us or which can help us to draw the equilibrium line as well as the operating line. So for equilibrium lines, uh, for when we say equilibrium, actually we consider that both any component or any solute particle which is a part of the liquid as well as that is part of the vapor, and they will be in equilibrium with each other at each of the plate. So when they are in equilibrium at each of the plates, so that can be represented with the help of this equation, like equilibrium constant K is equal to the ratio of mole fractions, like mole fraction of the solute inside the vapor phase to the mole fraction of the solute inside liquid phase. So if we are just considering any plate N, I've just mentioned that N mean that can be at any plate N. So at any plate N, mean at any plate they are in equilibrium with each other. When vapor and liquid are, we just consider this always when we are operating, that vapor and liquid leaving from any plate, they are in equilibrium with each other, and that can be calculated with the help of this K. So actually you know that K can be calculated. Last time we also discussed this in some part when we were discussing absorption, I think absorption parameter, yes. So we saw different methods to calculate K, and I told you already you have studied this somehow in the thermodynamics as well as in the fundamentals course. So K can be calculated. So if we can get the value of K, actually we can develop a relationship between y and x in terms of equation, and if we keep on like, or we know one of those, we can calculate the other. So let's look at this, that how we can represent it actually in the form of these capital Y, capital X, because they will be dealing with the flow rates. These are the fraction, mole fraction. So if you have the values in terms of flow rates, so how you can deal with them or how you can use them to draw this line, which is equilibrium line. By the way, when you guys will design the equipment, so before starting the design later on, you have to also solve or you have to go for final year project. So actually before starting, like when we have selected that what is our flow sheet, before designing any equipment, you go for material balance and energy balance. So in case of material balance, you mean you have calculated the flow rate of all streams leaving or entering to any equipment. So when we have those, we can just find this, which we have just discussed, the liquid flow rate, vapor flow rate, and the amount of any solute coming with the vapor as well as with the liquid and leaving the equipment. So here overall Y capital, you have just seen in last slides that was equal to y small divided by 1 minus y, that was mole fraction of the solute in the vapor phase to the mole fraction of the vapor or the gas solute, which is solute free. And similarly for x capital, that was equal to x small over 1 over x, we have just seen. So let's replace these y and x in the equation 1 with these y capital and x capital. So how we can do that? For example, if we want to replace this y small in the equation, so that will be like, if you have to just rearrange this equation, which is the relationship between y small and y capital. So that you can get it like y capital into 1 minus y, that is equal to y. Just open the bracket, and your purpose here is to just separate y capital. So uh, uh, here actually, sorry, the purpose is to separate y small so that we can get the value of y small in terms of y capital. So here y small is equal to y capital over 1 plus y. Similarly, we can write in equation for the x. So for x, x capital is equal to mole fraction of the solute in the liquid stream divided by mole fraction of solute free solvent of the liquid. So if you just rearrange the equation, finally you will reach to the similar conclusion that x capital will be x small will also be equal to x capital over 1 plus x. And if we are talking about the nth plate, so we will just put n with these. So just put these values of x and y in the first equation, and we will get some equation for k capital in terms of y and x capital. So that will be equal to, because it was equal to y over x, so we can just replace with these equation 4 and 5 y and x. So it is y capital over 1 plus y capital divided by x capital over 1 plus x capital at the nth plate. So this is the equation which you can use to draw the equilibrium lines. So in order to draw the equilibrium line, if we have some data regarding k, if we can find the k by using either Henry's law, or there was Raoult's law or modified Raoult's law for our given systems, and then we can write some equation which will relate actually y and x with some number here instead of k. So then we can take some values of x, put in the equation, and you will get the values of y. Or opposite to this, if you know or you have some data regarding y, you can put that and you will be getting the values of x. Hopefully in next lecture we will be solving one of the problem in which you will see the use of this equation, that how it can be used to draw the equilibrium line. So if I go back to that diagram, here you can see actually in order to draw the equilibrium line, you need two parameters, x capital and y capital here. So with the help of that equation, as well as with the help of some literature data, when we can, or some other law, for example Henry law or the Raoult's law, as I said, that we can get the value of k, and when we have that, we can put the value of, for example, if somehow we know some x, so we can find the y, so we will get the point to draw this line, equilibrium line, for both of these. So up to here, any question? Okay, otherwise next part is about like operating line, how we can get some equation which will help us to draw the operating line, because to solve or to find the number of trays for absorber as well as for the stripper, you will need both of the lines. Like here in this diagram, for example, you can see equilibrium line and the operating line as well for the absorber and stripper, both we have it. So like, in order to draw the operating lines, first of all, here again the same diagram are shown, which I have explained to you at the start, that there is absorber inside, liquid is entering and leaving, and numbers are how they are numbered, as well as for the stripper. So here the streams, when they are leaving or entering, these are called actually terminal points. Terminal mean at the end, either it is entering or the leaving. So this is like for vapor terminal, entering terminal, this is leaving, or the exit terminal, as well as similarly for the liquid, here it will be entering terminal, and this will be the like exit terminal. And similarly for the absorber, this is liquid entering, liquid leaving, and for the vapor. So the data of these terminal points or terminal pairs, for example, this terminal pair means this is one terminal pair when they are at the top, as well as this is another pair, they are at the bottom. Pair means this vapor and liquid. So their data mean for both these bottom and top pair that can be linked with the intermediate pairs or intermediate trays, intermediate points by using solute material balance of passing stream. For example, this is tray 1, there will be some tray 2, tray 3. So if we want to just link these values are the solute concentrations which are at any terminal, either top or the bottom, with the any fluid inside the column. So we can link that with the help of solute balance. The reason, because the value of solute will be changing throughout the tower in vapor as well as inside the liquid, because when liquid enter here, we consider that this is the pure liquid which is being used as absorbent. So amount of solute keep on increasing inside the liquid when it moves down. And similarly in the vapor stream, here there are the maximum solute inside the this stream, and when you keep on moving towards top, the amount of solute will keep on decreasing. So here solute amount is changing, so we can apply the balance on the solute and we can link this data. So in order to link that data, let's just consider here this bubble which is shown like in this diagram here. Like we can just consider this portion which is between top of the column and up to some ends, may manipulate and inside the column. So if we apply that balance on the like solute here, we are just considering that this is like physical absorption. So in that case, anything entering to this bubble will be equal to amount of the solute leaving from the bubble, because when we are considering just this steady state as well as non-reacting system, due to that I said physical absorption. So in that case, leak any solute into the system, like coming with this stream as well as this stream, that will be equal to the solute leaving in the both stream. So let's apply that balance. The same diagram is shown here for you, like liquid entering as well as leaving. Here we are considering just this bubble part, this part. So in this part here it will be like up to from tray 1 up to this tray and nth tray as well. Then we will consider the liquid vapor stream just entering to this nth tray and leaving from the top. So for that, as I said, that we can apply the solute balance because its amount is changing throughout the column. So other, for example, solute free liquid as well as solute free gas, we have already talked that their amount remains same throughout the column. Here it is also considered. So when you want to apply the balance on this, as it is steady state in this column, there is no accumulation as well as if the reaction is taking place. So input of the solute will be equal to simply output of the solute. So then we have to find the input of the solute or mole of solute getting into the system. So that can be found, or you can written in the form of these symbols here actually. So I have mentioned it as a x naught L prime. So this X capital, what was this? Do you remember?
Moles of solute over moles of solute free solvent.
Yes, good. And this L prime is moles of solute-free solvent. So overall, if I write here just for you, some of you are confused. So either it is like exactly if I'm writing X naught L or XL. So either it is like amount of solute or not. So just look that X capital was equal to mole of solute over mole of solute-free absorbent. So if I just multiply this with the moles of solute-free solvent, so this will cancel, and at the end of the day, this is actually moles of solute. So this XL prime is the moles of solute entering inside our system with the solvent. So as well, this for other mean entering, they are entering from the 2 points. Either they can enter, they can be part of this liquid stream as well, they can be part of this vapor stream. So vapor stream, which is just entering to this nth tray, anything when we started with this from 1 to this n small, so anything after this will be considered as n plus 1. And because this vapor stream is coming to this nth stream, this is our last in this, so here anything will be coming from similarly n plus 1 plate or n plus 1 like tray. So that is equal to y capital n plus 1 multiplied by vapor stream. So y was also like moles of the solute divided by moles of solute free gas or solute free vapor. So if I just multiplied that with the moles of solute free vapor, so you will get here that moles of solute entering to the tower in the vapor stream. So that is equal to outlet. So outlet is leaving from the top here, that is uh, like vapor leaving from the tray 1 y1 multiplied by vapor flow rate v prime, and similarly it will also be leaving here from the nth tray, that then actually moves to the next tray and so on, and at the end leaves from the bottom of the column. So that will be equal to like anything leaving from nth tray. So xn small, here we are not considering the whole column, multiplied by the liquid flow rate. So we have to just rearrange this equation for the moles of solute entering with vapor, and that is moles of solute entering with the vapor is in this case up to here when this half column is considered, as up to nth plate is considered, so that is yn plus 1. So just rearrange this y capital n plus 1. If we have to just get this value, we will divide whole equation with this v prime or the moles of solute free vapor. So when you will divide it and rearrange the equation, you get something like yn plus 1 is equal to xn, this value, this liquid flow rate divided by the v prime, which we are dividing each term with this, and this plus y1 will remain as such, because this v prime divided by v prime, this will cancel out, and this we are just moving it to the other side of the equation. So I have written here minus x naught this L prime over v prime. So this is one of the equation which will help you to draw the operating line. So I have further rearranged this equation. There are two terms which have some common components, so that is L prime over v prime, that is xn minus x naught. So we will just rearrange this together, plus it will be equal to y1. So this is yn plus 1, that is equal to, if we know these solute amounts leaving in the form of the liquid from the bottom or nth tray minus its amount or mole fraction entering from the top, and if we know the liquid and vapor flow rate as well, the mole fraction ratio of the mole fraction of the solute leaving in the form of vapor stream, so we can find this value of yn plus 1. So do you think this equation is somehow similar to the linear equation y is equal to mx plus c? Is it or not?
Yes, sir. Similar.
So here, what is value of slope?
Xn minus x naught.
Oh no.
Sorry, sir.
This
I'll
is
dash
this
over with
is
that.
slope. This is slope. So if you just remember the graph that was actually between x capital and y capital. So here anything we are considering like x are values of x and then y on the y-axis. So this is slope. This is y is equal to mx plus c. X, that is the value, and this is the slope of this line, liquid flow rate divided by vapor flow rate, and plus this is y-intercept, the point at which it just intersects the y-axis. So this is equation for our operating line equation to draw the line for operating line in case of the absorber. So let's look at the other side, which is stripper, because we have to just move both together. So for stripper, Similarly, we can develop the relationship between terminal concentrations with the concentration inside the column, and that can be developed with the help of applying the material balance on the solute again, similarly as we did in case of absorber. So here when you apply balance on this, so amount of solute getting into the system will be equal to amount of solute leaving out of the system. Again here the similar conditions are the things which we have to consider, that this is steady state. Definitely there is no accumulation inside the equipment, anything gets in leaves out of this system as well. This we are considering non-reacting system. So this value will be like here now for amount of the solute getting into this in the form of the liquid, because inside this liquid enters from the top and we have numbered it from bottom 1 to up to the nth we have considered. So anything coming in the form of the liquid will be coming from top and it will be entering from here. So when it is entering from here, this is our nth tray, so anything above this is n plus 1. So because we have started numbering from the bottom, so anything after this will be as n plus 1. Like if you take it as a 5, so that will be coming from the 6 just above this fifth tray. So x n plus 1 multiplied by solute free liquid flow rate, the similar one which we have just seen in the last, that only the difference is that was actually x naught L prime and here it is xn plus 1 multiplied by L prime, the same thing. It will give you the moles of the solute plus moles of solute are also entering with the vapor stream, that is entering from the zero state, so that is y naught v prime. So these are both entering. One will be leaving here from the top, it will be the vapor stream that will be leaving from the nth tray. So here it is y and v prime plus that will be leaving from the bottom, that is the liquid, so it is x1 L prime. So here just we have to rearrange it in such that we have to look for the amount of solute leaving the stripper with the vapor phase. So amount of the solute which is leaving the stripper in the form of vapor phase, that is represented with yn. Amount of the solute leaving the stripper or leaving this area which we have just considered. If we consider overall stripper, this is leave from the n capital plate, and if we are just considering some portion which is just mean like dotted line here, so that is leaving from this bubble or this area, that is yn. So we can again rearrange this equation in order to get that yn. You can divide whole equation by v prime, and when we divide it v prime, here it will cancel, so you will have on this side only xn plus 1 L prime over v prime, plus this will be only y naught, and minus you will just take it to the other side of equation, x1 into L prime over v prime. And this you can again also just combine these two because they are similar one, xn plus 1 minus x1 multiplied by L prime over v prime plus y naught. And in this equation and the similar fashion, similar way, like this L prime over v prime, when you just combine these two terms, they are equal to the slope of the line when it is for stripper. So yn will be equal to xn plus 1 minus x1 multiplied by these liquid flow rates over vapor flow rate, and both are solute free, plus y naught, y capital. So these both equation like 8 and 10, 8 I have named this equation which was like absorber line, and that was also like we have rearranged this equation for the moles of the solute entering with the vapor phase, and here this is the moles of the solute leaving the stripper with the vapor phase. We have removed them out of the liquid, we have just got rid of them. So these 8 and 10, they are used to draw the operating lines. So and they are actually linking your intermediate stages with the terminal one in the form of this balance. You can see that we can link them like terminal with the intermediate stages. So when you know these equations, like either this is equation 8 or 10, and if you know number of the parameter, for example, as I said that when we have to start the design, we should be aware about the flow rate. So if you know the liquid flow rate, vapor flow rate, and some of the specification of the equipment that for example, how much solute is there which has been absorbed inside this already in the absorber, because this is stripper state, so we know that how much already we have absorbed. So that will be coming if we know this value, as well as then these flow rates, and somehow if we know some of the parameters, some other can be calculated with the help of this equation, and then you can use this equation to draw the operating line. Also, this again, the equation will be practiced when we solve the problem. There you will see the application, that how we can use it to draw the line, and when we know we have drawn this operating line. Before this we have discussed the equilibrium line. When you know, or you have drawn both of the line, then you can calculate actually the number of stages. But before going for the number of stages, here few things about this, like when we look at the absorber, where does or how the operating line and the equilibrium curve, where they are located inside the any diagram or any plot where you just draw the operating line and the equilibrium line. So for absorber, when you will look at this, operating line is above the equilibrium line. Here, as shown in this diagram, operating line is above the equilibrium line. And the reason for this is actually for any given solute concentration. For example, if I just consider here value of x, like any value, just random, let's say it is 0.2, for example. So for this value of the 0.2, for any value x inside the liquid, for any given concentration x inside the liquid, x capital was mole of the solute to the mole of solute free solvent. So that's capital X. So the solute concentration at that time in the Y mean in the gaseous stream, in the vapor stream, is always greater. So that value corresponding to this value of the X, always the value of Y is in actual, it is greater than the equilibrium value. And this actually helps us, or this act as a driving force for the absorption. So let me tell you here from the diagram. So what does this mean? For example, when you take any value of as I said that for X, the solute concentration which is entering inside the liquid. Guys, when this liquid enters to the column, what we said, there is how much amount of this solute inside the liquid. Generally, how much solute should be there inside the liquid? Anyone? When this liquid enter, which is solvent, so for this solvent, how much should be the amount of these solutes inside there?
0.
Ideally, it should be 0.
Yes, ideally it should be 0. Good. Initially, when you start the operation, definitely it is pure liquid, but later we just, because in those systems in which we regenerate the liquid and we bring it back, there will be very small amount, and we try that to be 0. So let's say that it is negligible amount or 0. But on the other end, when this liquid comes to first tray and it is coming in contact with the vapor which are just coming from the bottom, so will there be any solute inside the vapor stream or not? As compared
Yes, sir,
to
there
this,
will be.
yes, definitely there will be amount of solute inside the vapor stream, because they were carried with the vapor from the bottom of the column. As it keep on moving towards top, amount of the solute will keep on decreasing inside the vapor stream, but still it is there. So if you remember, there was some example relating to the removal of acetone from one of the air stream. I have just discussed that when we were discussing, I think, initial chapter of the introduction to separation technique. So there we saw that acetone which was entering to the system, still I think its amount as, like for example, it was maybe 0.5%, that was still part of the vapor stream which was leaving from the top. I think it was given in the form of ppm, 143 ppm, and I asked you at that time to convert it to 0.5%. I think it was written there, if I remember correctly. So the purpose to tell you that is that acetone was part of this stream which was leaving still from the top. It was not removed 100%, although that was removed 99.5%, but still it was there. So the thing is that here, when vapor stream come in contact with the liquid at this plate 1, it will contain the amount of solute which is higher than this liquid stream. Ideally it should be like this, but as you guys mentioned that sometime when liquid is coming after regeneration, it can contain amount of solute, and if that is higher inside the liquid, definitely that will be transferred back to the vapor, and we do not need that. We do not want to go for such condition. Due to this, we always try to regenerate this liquid completely. So the thing is here that when liquid which is totally solute free, the gas which is coming in contact with that, the vapor which are coming in contact with that liquid, they contain some amount of solute, and which is greater than actually its amount present inside the liquid. The same was mentioned here, that it will always be greater in the vapor as compared to the liquid. Let's come to here the bottom. At the bottom, when just gas enter, it will contain maximum amount of the solute, and the liquid which is coming from the top, that will definitely absorb that. But when you read to the dish tray, when there is the maximum value of this entering from the bottom, the liquid which is coming in contact with that will have less amount as compared to this. So then mass transfer will take place. अगर ये equal हो जाती हैं या liquid में already ज़्यादा amount हो जाएगी, तो फिर ये mass transfer रुक जाएगा. This is the for mass transfer, concentration gradient is necessary. Due to this, here he said that whenever you will look at this, operating line will always be higher or above the equilibrium line. Then your system will try to move towards the equilibrium, because if the amount of here solute in the vapor is higher than the liquid, then they will try to come close to each other, and you will be moving at each plate. You try to reach towards the equilibrium between vapor and liquid, but when they reach to the next plate, either vapor reach to the above plate or the liquid reach to the next plate, that equilibrium has changed, because on that plate now there will be new equilibrium value. For example, here when you are at the top, because solute is very small in the amount in the vapor as well as it is negligible in the liquid, so the equilibrium will be different as compared to this here at the bottom, where there is a maximum value. Due to this reason, your operating line is just above the equilibrium line. And already, I have mentioned this, that when you look at the equation of the operating line, inside this L prime over V prime is called slope, liquid flow rate over the vapor flow rate. I think today we can't reach to that point, but tomorrow when we will start the lecture, so there you have to calculate actually the number of trays as well as the minimum liquid flow rate. There we will see the effect of this, that how does this affect liquid flow rate, how does it affect to the operating line and its slope. So for the opposite to that, stripper. For stripper, operating line will lie below the equilibrium line, and when it is below the equilibrium line, so in this case actually opposite to the absorber. Inside absorber, as we said, that for any liquid concentration, the vapor concentration is, or concentration of the solute inside the vapor stream is the higher. But opposite to that, inside this here, when you will take any value of x, the value in this will be higher. In case of the liquid, amount of the solute will be higher as compared to the vapor stream, which is the stripping agent here. If liquid which is entering from the top inside the absorber here stripping column, that contain maximum amount of the solute which it has already absorbed inside the absorber column, and you want to remove those components which were absorbed, that are removed with the help of some stripping agent. And that stripping agent is initially, when it enters, it is free of the solute, we consider that ideally it should not contain any solute, or it can contain very small negligible amount. So then it will start stripping this from the liquid, and definitely then they will start coming close to each other. The system will try to reach towards equilibrium at each plate. And also for this, the like slope of operating line is L prime over V prime for this equation. Already we have discussed about it, like whenever operation takes place, there is a equilibrium point to reach to that vapor and liquid both try to concentration of the solute try to reach equal to each other inside the column, and we can draw the equilibrium line by using that equilibrium principle and equation. Already I have discussed k is equal to y over x, and then that was represented in the form of x capital and y capital. So if there is a pure absorbent means there is no solute inside the absorbent. So in that case, what will be value of x, by the way? Can you tell me? X
0.
cap 0, good. And similarly for the pure stripping agent, when there is no solute, so this y capital will also be equal to 0, because y capital was equal to amount of the solute in the vapor stream divided by flow of or amount of like solute free vapor. So that will also be equal to 0 when x and y become 0. So when it will be like when there is a pure something stripping as well as absorbing agent. So the line relating the composition of the gas entering a plate to the liquid leaving the plate is known as operating line. This line that links between the actual compositions between the inside the column x and y. Already we have just discussed as the operating line that it links x and y and overall links the terminal composition with the various composition inside the column. So guys, thank you so much. From here tomorrow I will start like to calculate now number of stages. Up to here you know that how you can draw the equilibrium and the operating line. When you can draw these, then you can draw the number of stages inside that is similar to the McCabe. We will just talk about this tomorrow as well. The minimum liquid flow rate or some actual flow rate, what is that and how that's calculated, that is part of this. And with that I think we will finish it as well. We'll try to solve one problem related to this so that it becomes more clear to you. Thank you so much.